Hi everyone! Today we're going to do an activity called Scarf Story. Scarf Story is an activity where we use a scarf or a piece of material or any other object really as a prop to help you retell a story. I really like using a scarf or a piece of material because you can move it around really easily, shape it into anything you really want really quickly and really easily. But you can use any object at all. You can get really creative with different things you have lying around the house. So to demonstrate how this works, I'm going to retell the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Let's get started. Once upon a time, there was a little girl called Little Red Riding Hood. And Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother was unwell, and she was going to bring her basket of treats to make her feel better. Now Little Red Riding Hood's mother packed a basket and gave it to Little Red Riding Hood and told her, "Do not veer off the path to Grandma's house." So off Little Red Riding Hood went to the Grandma's house. Who saw Little Red Riding Hood skipping along? Only a very hungry wolf, and thought Little Red Riding Hood looked like a delicious meal. He went up to Little Red Riding Hood and said to her, "Oh, my dear, where are you off to?" And Little Red Riding Hood said, "Oh, I'm off to my grandma's house. She's very unwell, and I have this basket of treats to bring to her to make her feel better." The wolf said, "Oh, well, if you really want to make her feel better, there's some beautiful flowers in the forest. Why don't you pick her a beautiful bouquet?" And so off Little Red Riding Hood went picking flowers from the forest. The wolf had a fantastic idea. He was very hungry, so he ran to Grandma's house. When the wolf arrived at Grandma's house, he knocked on the door. Grandma tucked up in bed.
"Oh, who's at the door?"
The wolf, changing his voice, said, "Oh, Grandma, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood."
"Oh, come in, my dear. The door is open."
The wolf opened the door and seized Grandma and swallowed her whole in one gulp. The wolf got dressed into Grandma's clothing and then got himself all tucked up in her bed, waiting for Little Red Riding Hood to come. Little Red Riding Hood continued to skip through the forest, picking flowers for Grandma, and had a beautiful bouquet for her. She finally arrived at Grandma's house and then knocked on the door. The wolf, tucked up in the bed, went,
"Oh, who's at the door?"
"It's me, Grandma, Little Red Riding Hood."
"Oh, come in, my dear. The door is open."
So Little Red Riding Hood opened the door and walked up to the bed.
"Oh, come closer, my dear. I can barely see you."
Little Red Riding Hood walked up to Grandma, but something didn't seem right. And Little Red Riding Hood said, "Oh, Grandma, what big eyes you have." And the wolf said, "Oh, all the better to see you with, my dear." And Little Red Riding Hood said, "Oh, Grandma, what big ears you have." Oh, all the better to hear you with, my dear. Oh, but Grandma, what big teeth you have! And the wolf said, all the better to eat you with. And he leapt at Little Red Riding Hood, and Little Red Riding Hood ran around the room screaming, ah! Just then, a woodman with his axe was walking in the forest and heard the screams of Little Red Riding Hood, ah! And came running to Grandma's house. The woodman with his axe bopped the wolf on the head, and the wolf opened his mouth wide, screaming, ah! And out jumped Grandma.
Oh, my dear!
The wolf ran out of Grandma's house screaming, ah! And was never seen in the forest again. Little Red Riding Hood and Grandma thanked and thanked the Good Woodman for saving them, and they all enjoyed the lovely treats that Little Red Riding Hood had brought. The end. So there you go, guys. You can use the scarf in so many different ways. And some things might not work, but some things might work really well. So the most important thing is to experiment and have fun and try different things. And also, if you really want to challenge yourself, you can use a scarf or piece of material and also use another object as well to add into the mix. So try things, have fun, and I would love to hear your stories with using the scarf and bits and different bits. And I'll see you guys later. Bye!